Today we're going to explore Unreal Engine 4 and how it can be useful to artists. Have you ever wanted to have your own art gallery? In this series, I'm going to show you how to build your own customizable gallery that people can walk around in and explore using Unreal Engine 4. This is a guide for complete beginners. I'm going to assume that you've never used Unreal before today. I'm going to walk you through step by step as I create my art gallery, and I'm going to show you how you can customize it and make it look pretty much any way you want. Let's jump in. When you open up Unreal, you'll be greeted with the Unreal Project browser. We're going to click on Games, Next, select a blank template, Next. Make sure Blueprint is selected, maximum quality is on, ray tracing is disabled, we don't need that. And with starter content. Tell the project where you want it to save and give it a name. We're going to call this Unreal Gallery Demo. And create project. And this is the viewport display, and you can look around in here. And play with some of the objects if you like, but I'm not going to mess around with that. And you can select default, and that'll give you a ground and some basic items to work with, but I'm going for empty level. And we don't need to save our changes to the viewport display. So the first thing we're going to do is add a floor. We'll go down here to on the lower left is the content browser, and we're going to select the starter content folder and architecture. First up here we have a floor. We're going to drag that in and then come over here to the right in the details tab, and we're going to set the location to 0, and that will center it. Then we're going to change the scale. Make it 4 by 6. By 0.1. To move around your scene in perspective mode, use left mouse button and drag to move the camera forward and backward and rotate left and right. Right mouse button and drag rotates the viewport camera, and left mouse button and right mouse button together and drag moves you up and down. Next, we're going to bring a light into our scene. On the top left is the Place Actors panel. Under the Lights tab, we will select Directional Light and drag that in above our floor. Next, let's add some atmosphere to our level so we're not sitting here in the dark. Again, to the Place Actors panel, where you go down to the Visual Effects tab and scroll down to Atmospheric Fog. Drag that into your scene. Now we've got a nice little background to work with. Next, in the Place Actors panel, we'll go to the Volumes tab and select Light Mass Importance Volume. Drag that into your scene. And then we're going to press R for scale. And if you see, you can scale in several directions, but if you hover over this little white box, you can scale in all directions at once. And we're going to scale this up so that it encompasses our scene. Next, in the Place Actors panel, we're going to go to the Basic tab and drag in a player start. And that tells the game where to start the player when they begin the level. And here comes the fun part where we actually get to start building our gallery. So back in the content browser, under architecture, where we got our floor, we have several wall choices to choose from. I'm going to go with the 400 by 400. E to rotate, W to move, and then Control W to duplicate. And here I've made a mistake. If you zoom in, you can see I thought that I was placing my walls on the far end of the floor, but in actuality, I was placing them right in front of me. So this is where the orthographic view modes come in. We come up to here to perspective, and we're going to change it to top orthographic mode. And we're going to change the brush wireframe to lit so we can see what we're doing better. But from here, we can adjust them. And then continue on duplicating. Control W, Control W, and back to perspective mode. We can see that they are hovering about 5 feet off of the floor. So we're going to shift select these wall pieces. Move them down so they're a little bit closer to where they're supposed to be. And we're going to go to our view mode again. Select back orthographic. And in orthographic mode, left mouse button and drag creates a marquee selection box. Right mouse button and drag pans the viewport camera. And left mouse button and right mouse button and drag zooms the viewport camera in and out. So we're going to select these wall panels with our marquee selection, left mouse button and drag. And we're going to zoom in until we can see that floor. And then W for move. And we're gonna, now let's go back to perspective view and take a look and see how it came out. Looks good. I'm going to go back to top orthographic for a moment. Zoom out. And let's move our atmospheric fog out of our room and our directional light and our player start back into our scene. Now we should probably save because I should have done that earlier. File, save current, or Control S. We're going to save this as Unreal Gallery Level. Now to make the next step easy on ourselves, let's go back to back orthographic view. And we're going to select our wall panels. And we're going to copy them with Control W. Switch back to top orthographic mode. And just move these over to the other side. And you can see up here, they don't quite line up with the floor, but I'll fix that later. Yeah, the floor is a little bit long, but I'll scale those pieces out so that they fit. So we're working with the 400 by 400 wall pieces. If you mix and match, you can run into problems because they're different dimensions. So I'm going to stick with that and drag another one into my level up here. Slide it into place. And then we're going to duplicate that. Let's go to orthographic right side. I'm going to select these that we just placed. Well, we don't want the player start too. We just want those wall pieces. We're going to go back to top orthographic, Control W. Move these down to the other side. All right. Now let's go back to front orthographic. We're going to select one of these middle panels. And we're going to delete it. And in its place, we're going to bring in a doorway. Wall door 400 by 400. And let's go back to top mode. E for rotate. W for move. And just fit that right into place there. And take a look from our different views, see how we're looking. Ah, see, it's a little low. Let's go back to perspective view. And we've got a little gap here, so let's fix that. There we go. Now we have a room with a door. Oh, and it looks like our back wall is still a little bit off the ground. So I think I'm gonna eyeball that. Shift select. Let's nudge that down a bit. There we go. Looking pretty good. Now let's select our directional light. And if we press E, we can change its direction. Let's have it point down for now. Let's go ahead and build our lighting. There, now it's a little nicer to look at. Let's go to top orthographic mode. With W, we're going to move our player start over by the door. And now we can select our wall piece. Come over here on the right hand side to the details tab. We can see materials here. And we can choose from our starter materials what kind of material we want our walls to look like. You can see we have quite a bit to choose from. For now, let's go with brick clay old. And that's one way to apply a material. Now the other way is to go back to the content browser. And here we are, we're still in architecture, so let's go up one. And here we have a materials folder. And there's our brick clay old. And to quickly add it to all of our walls here, we can just drag and drop. And let's pick something for the floor. How about some ceramic tile? All right, now we've got a nice little building, and we can preview this by coming up here to the play button, and we can see that our character start is facing the wrong direction. We want him to be looking in from the doorway, but here's our basic room. You can look around and move around the scene with your arrow keys. And then just press escape to get out of the preview mode. And let's go ahead and save there. I don't know about you, but I could use a break. In the next video, I'll show you how to start putting your artwork into the scene.